Hey, well, this is Zacchaeus with another live word of the day. God bless for tuning in. God bless for tuning in. And for those tuning in for the first time, I thank you. And for those who been consistently supporting me, I thank you as well. Well, today I want to discuss on why Americans don't want to work. Why is staff so low? Everywhere you go, there's low staff. Not too long ago, I was on vacation with my family, and we went into in Florida, we went into an IHOP restaurant, and we noticed that the wait took a longer time, longer than expected. Because usually you wait for 20 minutes to get served, to get sit down, and you sit down in the restaurant, and then you wait for the waitress to come to serve you. And we sat down and we ordered our food, and the wait was so long that it took 30 minutes, 30 to 35 minutes. And the waitress finally came to us and said, "I'm sorry, but we're low staffed, low staffed." And even when you go to certain locations, like certain facilities, for example, if you go to the certain places like some clinics, there's only about two staff that's available. If you go to your cash checking place, there's only about three staff available. The lines are out the door, the lines are long, and they're out the door. And you wonder why, like, wait a minute, why is the line so long and why is the lines out the door? And in the same complaint, we're short staffed. And they're hiring people, they put out signs of hiring people. And Wendy's, everywhere you go around the country, it was in California, we went to a Chick-fil-A and they had the sign up, they're hiring, need more help, more staff, more help. And they're hiring, but nobody wants to work. Most young people, Generation Z, don't want to do no 20 years. They don't want to work 20 years and until they can collect a pension. They don't want to work 20 years. And I think it's the influence of social media with making fast money, making quick money. There's other better ways of making money. You could be an influencer. You could be a go online and make an income, make a living, make a full-time income out of YouTube, make a full-time income out of any type of social media platform, and sell things and Facebook Marketplace and make a living, Shopify, and they're getting turned off of working at 20 years. People want to work maybe about 5 years. You'd be lucky if they make 5 years. It's because and people right now, and I'm telling you the truth, there's a lot of strikes going on. Just recently, there's a hearing, in New York City. Recently in New York City, there is gonna be a school bus strike for the workers to get more money. And I have to admit, only certain places are getting raises, but a lot of in places of employment, they're not giving out raises. They're not giving people a raise, no incentive to stay, meaning that they're low staff and underpaid. And I shared a video one time in Florida where the woman was overworked, being screamed at in Florida, underpaid. And they have some governors like DeSantis who had immigrants come in to work. They want to work, but he sends them into the major cities. He said they no longer can stay in Florida. They send them to Mexico. They send them to not Mexico. Excuse me, New York City, Chicago, Los Angeles. But still here, it's still a low staff. People stay 5 years, but look for better opportunities. Nobody wants to work 20 and 30 years on their jobs no more. With understanding, with things going up in price, and things are not looking, and things on your job is not really, you can't keep up with the payments. You can't keep up with the payments on your job. You can't keep up with the payments on your, you cannot keep up with the payments with your cost of living, as far as paying rent, utilities, and it seems like it's a struggle. And people these days need like more than one hustle. And working overtime, you get taxed. It's depending on what state you live in, you get taxed a lot. So people are not working 20 years no more. People that don't want to work 30 years no more. They're looking for better opportunities and for quicker. Listen, and make more money opportunities. Why? Because the job is not going according to the cost of living. And it seems to be like a that everywhere you go, depending on what facility that you're in, is low staffed. People are finding other opportunities, and maybe possibly and people are moving around. They don't want to stay 20 years in a job and live in a state where it's extremely expensive. So that's what's going on, folks. That's what's going on. Where I work, 25 years, still 25 years on my job, 25 years on my job, and I'm not looking to stay another 30 years. I'm looking because I know there's other opportunities for me to free up my time to make money, possibly make more money, and free up my time and continue with my investments as far as my stocks, as far as building up my presence on YouTube, as far as building just a stream of different streams of income. Because you face it, people are looking at social media and they're realizing that people are sharing their testimonials, and some are real, some are not. You got to do your research. And people want more time with their family. People want to make money, but they want more time. And folks, time is a very precious thing. And if you got to work and choose and ask this question, if you got to work 16 hours a day compared to working 2 hours a day and making the same amount of money, what would you choose? You choose the lesser time. Folks are looking for ways out. They're no longer that's old school to stay 20 years in your job, 25 years in your job, 30 years in your job. And then when you finally get the pension, you still got to go back to work. When you finally get the pension, you still got to find another job. Because the pension is not enough. Depending on what state you live in, the pension is not enough to keep up with the cost of living. And it's a problem. So this is why people are leaving they're quitting. They don't feel the incentive to go back to work or feel the incentive to the Generation Z is, and I spoke about this already. Generation Z is finding new ways of making an income, working less, and making more money. Working smarter, not harder. So this is why most people, citizens in the US, don't want to work, stay 20, 30 years on their job because of the same reason. Now, people, there's something with real estate where people are borrowing other people's money, meaning that they go in and they're building up their credit, using their credit. They're putting on money on a property, a real estate property or Airbnb, and they're investing in property that can make them passive income. Or what they're doing is they're building up I believe it, you should build up your stock portfolio. That's what I'm in the process of doing now. So I can sit back, kick back, and relax. I don't have to work so hard. So this is why people are not staying so long with their employment. This is why people don't want to stay 30 years, don't want to stay 20 years. And that's a lot of Generation Z. They don't want to work. They don't want to work. They don't have the incentive to work. You go to places to get service and you gotta wait longer. Sometimes the service is not even good. You ask for repairs in your home, you request repairs, you make an appointment, and sometimes the repairman don't show up. Or the repair woman don't show up because They're underpaid. And and folks, in the months to come, there're gonna be a lot of strikes, a lot of jobs, a lot of people is gonna be going on strike. Why? Because people need more money. Simple as that, to keep up with the cost of living. People need more money to keep up with the cost of living. And they're not gonna stay. And they're not gonna stay in a job that's not giving them good wages to stay, no incentive to stay. I mean, as far as you got to work too hard to get a promotion, and sometimes when you work very hard to get that promotion, you don't get it. So I always advise people, don't rely, act like you're not getting a raise. Don't rely, don't rely on getting a raise from your boss or any. Don't depend on that. Don't depend on that. Invest in yourself. But this is Zacchaeus coming to you with another live word of the day. And a live word of the day is coming out of Leviticus chapter 19, verses 13. You shall not oppress your neighbors or rob him. The wages of a hired worker shall not remain with you all night until the morning. That's right. People are not staying 20 years and 30 years on their jobs anymore because they realize a pension is not enough. Depending on what job career you have. For teachers, it may be different in New York City, but it depends on what state you live in. Teachers in Florida are not getting so much, so they're leaving. So it depends on where you live, and depends on what your job is paying you. And a lot of jobs, they're not giving no incentive to stay, and people are going on strike. Well, this is Zacchaeus with another live word of the day. God bless and be safe out there. Peace and blessings.